Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So after last night's initial success with one of the S-Class bounties, I decided to bring a similar team to tackle Dr. Fetan. And so in this video, we will tackle Dr. Fetan as one of the S-Class, and then hopefully unlock one of the other Elpis weapons, which is the Staff. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So clearly, as part of the journey to get to Dr. Fetan, you do actually unlock the high-end version of the tool for Corbo, so you probably have this ahead of time. But that being said, let's take on this boss. Now, one of the things about this boss that was very frustrating back in the day is that it wasn't that Dr. Fetan does a ton of damage. He's extremely annoying mainly because of his status and also the environmental status as well. So the environment can cause frozen, which basically is like stone, you just can't act. And even with Tetra there, Tetra can heal it, however then your unit still becomes inactive for that turn, and Dr. Fetan starts draining your MP and other annoying things that will get in the way of your victory. You can also see that it does boost non-type damage, however as the battle ensues and continues on, Dr. Fetan also starts putting up resistances or shields against all weapon types, including Magic, Pierce, Slash, and Blunt. So anyways, you don't see any of those symbols yet. We're going to do a first turn AF right off the bat, and of course we're going to use the same overpowered team that we did to take on Al Tomas. And one thing I will say is that I know when it first came out, because of the fact that there's so many barriers, I was reluctant to use Minolka to kind of take this down. I had Minolka at the time of main story part 3 with my summons, but I really got frustrated or annoyed at the fact that almost all the high-end S-Class bounties had a 30-hit barrier at each HP stopper, and unless you find other ways around it, and I frankly was very busy at the time, was not very happy about that, and so I just kind of gave up on it. Now, that being said, with the advent of having Sesta, another cheap superpowered unit that can pierce barriers as long as you have that Twin Blade Wolf. Keep in mind that if you don't have that charge, her main attack will not barrier pierce. Since we do have it because we have the Awakened Zone and Dr. Fetan does not break zone, then we can, at the start of each of our turns, and keep in mind that Awakened Zone lasts 2 additional turns from turn 1, so on turn 3 you still have an additional charge of Twin Blade Wolf. You'll be able to beat this fight with absolutely no issues at all. The other 3 units are really just there to maintain AF bar and honestly to support Sesta, because again, just like before, Suzette will apply pain, Kikyo will apply slash resistance down, and ES Sukiya will give crit damage up. I'm sure there's other team comps, but since I had just some earlier success, I decided to bring this team, and it was only 1 try required in order to beat this fight, which is much better than the initial numbers of tries that I did and failed. Also didn't want to use a team with ES Radius or Efi because at the time I think those teams were very prevalent, and so yeah, I shouldn't have put it off so long, but hey, since the units and the bosses are scamming harder, I'm going to scam harder too, and as long as I beat the contents at some point. I know some of you may be waiting for a very long time and probably used other guides in order to beat this, but for any one of you who hasn't beaten this content yet, at least you'll know that Sesta essentially is a 1-woman army. The other 3 are really just for support, and keep in mind that Sesta can support everyone anyways. Her Twin Blade Wolf, keep in mind, every activation when you get all 5 moves in includes a 3-hit status barrier, which will totally counteract the majority of Dr. Fetan's difficult boss fight mechanics. Other than that, she just shreds through with her barrier pierce, and if you watched the numbers earlier, it was actually 2 times 2 billion, which is actually 2 times the cap. It's just 2 billion, 2 billion, which is very, very nice to see damage cap with a 16 Shadow Sesta, with some grass enhancements, of course, but still, ridiculous, ridiculous, ridiculous. So, in the end of the day, a little bit of a hypocrite, didn't want to use Minolka or Efi-led team because of barrier pierce mechanics, and at the end of the day, I ended up using a barrier pierce mechanic in order to make the fight trivial and a brain dead strat. Anyways, for all the trouble you go through, you do get an Elpis rod, and remember that the Elpis weapons are among the strongest ones in the game, not only guarantee crit, but gives overthrow as well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.